Good afternoon. It's just coming up to 24 minutes after 5 o'clock. If you just joined me, welcome on board. This is GB News. Don't forget, you can also stream us live on YouTube or download the GB News app. I'm Nana Akua. It's time now for the Great British Debate this hour. And I'm asking, is it time for a new main party in British politics? Now, the UK political landscape is witnessing significant developments. The Tory party is facing internal turmoil, eating themselves from the inside out. Rishi Sunak pushing ahead with the Rwanda policy that apparently, if he just made a few amendments, could have got it through the Supreme Court. But unfortunately, it was ruled unlawful. We've also seen Lord Cameron make a return, a dinosaur. I mean, bless his heart, but really, seriously, he created Brexit and then ran away, didn't he? The Labour Party also struggling to call for a ceasefire in Gaza. You've seen the turmoil within their party. I wonder how Keir Starmer hopes to lead the country when he's struggling to lead his own party. Then over in Scotland, lots of money troubles for the SNP and, of course, the good old Lib Dems. Don't get me started on them. Even in Northern Ireland, you've got Stormont who aren't sitting. It's so many things going on. So for this hour's Great British Debate, I'm asking, is it time for a new main party in British politics? Well, I'm joined now by Ben Habib. He's Deputy Leader for Reform UK. Dr Philip Kisley, cultural historian. Roger Giwalt, former advisor to the Bank of England. I've missed somebody. Who's missing from my list? Is that 4 people? There's somebody else there. That's everybody. All right, well, I'll start with you. Roger, please start first. What do you think?
Well, I think everything you say is right. I mean, both parties, the whole political scene here in the UK, you couldn't make it up. You couldn't write it. It's a West End play. And what will happen, I don't know. But, you know, Rishi is certainly backtracking on all sorts of things. The statements from Chancellor Hunt over and over that we don't have the money for the tax cuts. I have been saying for many months that we do, since last November when he said there was a £55 billion black hole, which I didn't believe. Of course we have the money for tax cuts, and I always said they would come just before, you know, general election time came up. Do we need a new political party? Yes, it would be great if we could have a party that had people that were different and that weren't professional politicians, you know, kind of in it for themselves and not thinking about us. I think they're all so divorced from the common Brit that it's frightening.
Well, it does seem a shocker, really, frankly. All right, Dr Philip Kisley, what do you think?
Yes, I think it's difficult to hold the Conservative Party in anything other than contempt because they hold us in contempt. They lie to us all the time. Not only do they lie, they do the opposite of what they're supposed to do. So if they say that they're going to deal with mass immigration will actually go up. If they say they're going to deal with genderism in schools, then we'll have more genderism in schools. So they hold us in contempt. There is space for a new major party. There desperately needs to be a major party. There needs to be conviction politics. There needs to be a party that deals with culture, the big issues, which are cultural issues, and we don't have a major party doing that at the moment. We have a couple of smaller parties doing that. We have the SDP and we have Reform here, but we need those parties to step up and gain confidence and be bigger.
Because it just seems a bit of a mess. Jerry Hayes, sorry I didn't mention you, Jerry. Jerry, you're there. Jerry, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, it depends what happens at the general election. It looks at the moment like the Tories are going to be in trouble at the general election. And then we get someone like Suella Braverman who's leading the... I'm getting terrible feedback here. I don't think I'm meant to be.
Just keep talking. We can hear you, Jerry. Don't worry.
That's all right. If the Tory party suddenly becomes a right-wing clique and people like me, the One Nation Tories, are excluded, then there will be a total change in the political landscape. But I'm not so sure that's going to happen. If you have someone like Kemi Badenoch, then people like me can stay in the Conservative Party. But it's very difficult for a party, a new party, to be successful. The only party which has been successful in the past was the SDP, and they were pretty well non-aligned. They were not professional politicians. And everyone forgets that in 1983, they were very close to becoming the opposition. They're about 400,000 votes. What I look out for, which I think is very dangerous, is George Galloway. George
Really?
Galloway is going to harness the Muslim vote on
I can't take him
Palestine.
seriously after he played the cat in Big Brother.
Oh, yeah, but a lot of people, I mean, I agree. But, you know, it's terrible. But that's one side that's worrying. It's hopelessly divided the Labour Party.
All right, well, Ben Habib, he says that George Galloway, watch out for him. McCavity. What do you think, Ben?
Well, I am deputy leader of Reform UK, and I only joined Reform UK because I came to the conclusion that neither of the main parties are going to deliver for this country. I mean, if you look at both the main parties, they both believe in large state intervention. They both believe in large state borrowing, large state spending, high taxation. Neither party wishes or is able to control immigration. As one of the previous speakers said, there's a complete blind spot on culturalism and the culture of the United Kingdom, promoting it and protecting it. And this is not just a cultural debate when we talk about culture. We're actually talking about the heart of the nation, the homogeneity, the happiness and settlement of British people. And there's only one party, frankly, that does that, which is Reform UK. And we are already getting to be a main party. This week, after the Suella Braverman meltdown, we've polled in double digits on 4 separate opinion polls. And so we're going to present a real threat to the Conservative Party, a real threat to the Labour Party in the next election, and we are going to deliver policies which will economically charge the United Kingdom and protect the cultural integrity of it. One of the things that Suella Braverman said that was so right was that this country is facing an existential threat, and we've been taken there by the Labour Party, followed by the Conservative Party. They've had their day. They need to get out of the way and let people like me, who are not professional politicians, but are in it because of conviction, show the way. Well, Reform UK is the next main party.
You would say that, though, Ben, with all respect.
Of course I would.
Well, of course you're going to say that. You're not going to say something else. Yeah. But Philip, you're hearing this. A party like Reform, all they'll ultimately do is make it easier for people like the Labour Party to win and split their sort of more right-of-centre, right-wing voters, people would like to say. What do you think, Philip? Do you think that another party could come in?
No.
I think they could do, but I think it's a long game, Nana. I think we're talking long term here, because what we've got at the moment, we've seen the Labour Party have played identity politics for the last 30 years, and we're seeing on the streets now the payment. They're being paid out, aren't they? They're having their I've got a terrible echo here, so I can barely hear myself. They're having their MPs being attacked almost on the streets. Okay, they're having mobs going right into where their offices are. It's terrible, but that's where we are. We are not, in all reality, going to have as much as I want Reform to really stand up and be counted. We are not going to have Reform, and we're not going to have the SDP making a huge impact this time, but I think it's a longer game, and maybe Reform will do in the future. Yeah, I think so, yes.
But any other party, even if it wasn't Reform, another one, Roger?
Well, it's interesting. Us sitting here discussing this strikes me rather as the children in their room talking about the parents in the next room, because, we're not going to get anywhere until we have proportional representation. No party can get in other than the 2 main parties, and that's the big problem that we've had. And Labour will probably resist that, because the system has given the Tories 67 years and Labour 33 years of the last 100. And Labour will lose a lot of MPs, the studies show, if we do have proportional representation. So I'm afraid that the current first-past-the-post system prevents any party. I know a lot of people want to go to Reform.
I'm going to get Jerry Hayes in finally. You've got about 20 seconds, Jerry, to respond to that, because he's shaking his head.
It's not going to happen. We had a vote on AV, and the worst thing about the proportional representation, it gets rid of the link between the MP and the constituents, because what proportional representation does, you suck up to your party. You suck up to the party list. You don't suck up to the electorate. That's wrong.
Right, OK. So realistically, then, is there room, another third party? I know your answer, Ben. I'm not even going to ask you. Philip?
You've got to ask me, Nana.
Yeah, you think that. Philip, so this time round, do you think another party could come in other than the main two?
Not this time round, but next time round.
No from Jerry. And Roger, finally for you.
I think we're stuck with this situation and these clowns for quite a long time.
That's what they are. Ben Habib, thank you very much. Deputy Leader of Reform, Philip Kidsley, cultural historian, Roger Gewald, former advisor to the Bank of England, and Jerry Hayes, barrister. Thank you so much for your thoughts. Well, this is GB News on TV, online, on digital radio. We are live. Coming up, we'll continue with the Great British Debate this hour. I'm asking, is it time for a new major political party in British politics? You'll hear the thoughts of my panel, but first, let's get your latest news with Tatiana.